If a day like today should teach you anything, it's that timing's everything in this business. For example, in the middle of October, when the averages were melting down, a feeling we're quite familiar with at this point, and the cloud stocks in particular are going into free fall, a company called Anaplan, symbol PLAN, took itself public. Anaplan is a cloud-based provider of what they call connected planning software. They help businesses connect the people who matter with the data that they need to make decisions in real time. This fascinating company is growing like a weed that is revolutionizing the way that companies plan. Just see the stock came public at 17 October, rose to 24.25 on opening day, and now, even after today's horrendous session, closed at $27.66. That's off only 30 cents. Let's take a closer look at Frank Calderoni, the president and CEO of Anaplan, and an old friend of the show, to learn more about his newly public company and its prospects. Mr. Calderoni, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, Frank. How have you been? Have a seat.
Great. Thanks to be here.
All right, so I think most people, when they think of planning, people who watch the show, they think, all right, you sit down at the end of the quarter, you figure out, okay, how to go, what should we do? That doesn't work anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I've been in the planning world now for a couple of decades.
Oh.
It's amazing how time goes by. But when you think about planning, planning has been kind of looking back in trends.
Yeah.
Now everything is changing so rapidly, you really have to react quickly. And you mentioned about real-time planning. Real-time planning is having information at your fingertips within large organizations so you can make better, faster decisions. And that's what Anaplan's all about.
Okay, so you've been CFO of Red Hat. We've seen you there. You were CFO of Cisco. I saw you there. QLogic. It seems like whenever your either stock goes up or you get acquired from this list. But you're also on the board of Adobe. I mean, do you think everybody, all these these are all great companies. Could they all use you? You worked at IBM for years. Could they use you?
Yeah, from a planning standpoint, yes. I mean, again, we're just in the early stages of this transformation that's going on, I think, in planning, right. To really kind of be much more predictive. I mean, the key thing here is having information. It's the kind of connection of data, people, and plans to really kind of project the future, right? Forecast, so that you can react based on the markets. All the companies you mentioned, many of them are customers or will be customers of Anaplan.
Now, you are, people might say, well, wait a second, what do they have that's proprietary? So I'm going to give you a chance to talk about Hyperblock technology.
So that's exactly, I mean, Hyperblock is that proprietary technology that we have. It was developed by our founder, Michael Gould. Michael was in the planning space for so many years. He worked for companies like Adatum and Cognos. And he went off into his barn in the UK, and he was a mathematician. And so the key thing that he developed in Hyperblock is the calculation engine. So and that's a big aspect. So it's sort of like, think about this like algorithms.
Okay.
That allow you to use those calculations to predict based on information, data that you have in your organization, that allows you to be more accurate in your forecasting and your prediction so that you can anticipate what's coming and then be able to be ready for it and react appropriately. And so that's what makes us unique, right. And that the platform. And the other key thing is many people think about planning is financial planning.
Right.
We sell it as enterprise planning. It's planning that's used in finance, in sales, in supply chain, in HR. So it's like enterprise planning. And these calculation capabilities are applicable, like when you're doing sales forecasting,
sure.
or especially in supply chain, where you're trying to be, as retail companies trying to be reactive. You know, one of our companies is Carter's. They're the children's clothing retailer, right? So they've been using Anaplan now for a long time. And, you know, if you think about Carter's, they've got 250,000 SKUs, right? Okay. Different articles of clothing that they have to plan for. And they have tens of thousands of retail outlets around the United States. So getting that right mix of clothing. And the other thing which I found out in working with Carter's is they have to replenish their inventory every 2 to 3 months in order to be fresh and get the attention of their customers, right? So there's a lot of dynamics that's going on there. And so leveraging Anaplan allowed them to shorten their planning process, improve on their accuracy so they have less inventory, and that improved, I think their number was like $25, $30 million of cash flow benefit that they got as a result of being much more efficient.
Okay, now one last thing. One, you could work at any company you wanted, but two, you're up against a company that I know you admire. You may say they're different, but Workday bought Adaptive. They seem somewhat similar. Are you guys going head-to-head, or are the products different enough that Workday does not go after yours, you don't go after Workday?
So again, the industry is transforming. And if you think about, just to put in perspective the size, IDC, if you look at the planning, the more traditional planning, this year it's estimated to be about 17 billion of revenue, growing to 21 billion. We did a survey recently, our own, we commissioned a survey to look at how many knowledge workers are out there that do planning in the different functions, 72 million. So it's a big opportunity, and I would expect that you're going to get several players in that space as it continues to transform. So again, our platform, I believe it's very unique in that it's enterprise-wide, and again, connecting the organization, supply chain into finance, sales into finance is really advantageous.
Well, you're in a sweet spot. I can tell you that. And this is what companies need. That's Frank Calderoni, President and CEO of Anaplan. You should just Google where he's been. They're all the companies that we like so much on Mad Money. Stick with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.